My passion.
I work out whenever I can.
But with my moderate to severe eczema, it can be tough.
Now I'm staying ahead of it.
Dupixent helps heal your skin from within, so you can have clearer skin and noticeably less itch. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. Ask your doctor about Dupixent.
Happening now.
A child received the wrong medication from a school nurse, and now his mom wants answers and action. We'll tell you what she has to say about her son's health and the district's response.
Scattered storms are possible for parts of the area later on this evening, some of which could be strong to severe. We'll get you the latest version of Futurecast and all the details coming up in a few.
And we have a parent alert. Thousands of products, from jewelry to toys to beds, have been recalled. We'll tell you what to watch out for next. The News at 5 starts right now. First at 5, a medical mix-up and a mom demanding more answers from SAISD. She says her son's school administered him wrong medication for months, but the district says otherwise. Even today, Candace Smith says she doesn't know what drug her son was given. RJ Marquez explains how her mission to find out why her son's life was put at risk has not turned up any answers yet.
My son could have been dead. He could have died because of this, in the hands of a registered nurse.
One phone call and now so many questions. Candace Smith says on March 31st, her young son Cameron's school called her saying he was given the wrong medication from a nurse.
I proceeded to ask questions on how can this happen? These bottles are labeled. She could not answer none of them for me.
Smith's son, who is in the 2nd grade at Cameron Elementary, is diagnosed with ADHD and bipolar disorder. But as she tried to get more answers, Smith said she discovered something else.
I proceeded that afternoon to go to the school to refill her for the month of April, to learn when she shows me the pill bottles that should have been empty.
Smith claims instead her son's medication bottles still contain weeks' worth of pills.
We had this meeting and they could not tell me what they gave my son based off of the logs. They still have no idea to this day.
Smith says that her son has dealt with side effects after the alleged mix-up. She says she met with the district's Student Health Services Department in early April, but did not get any clarity about what happened or communication from SAISD.
To see him experience these symptoms that as an 8-year-old should not be experiencing, of severe migraines, abdominal pain, having to go through all these testing and blood work, I'll never be the same. I'll never be the same.
We reached out to the district and they confirmed that there was one instance where a child received the wrong medication. However, Candace believes that it went on much longer than that. The district also confirmed that a registered nurse and an assistant were both removed from this campus. Reporting from the east side, RJ Marquez, KSAT 12 News.
In a lengthy statement to KSAT, the school district said it does provide mandatory medication administration training at the start of each school year and that the staff is being retrained on proper protocols. We have the full statement on KSAT.com. An update now on a body that was found in a creek last week. The woman has been identified as a 48-year-old woman, Angela Smith. She was found on Friday in a flooded creek off of West Commerce Street. San Antonio police say her body was severely decomposed. It's unclear how long the woman had been there. The Bexar County Medical Examiner is still determining her cause of death. The San Antonio Fire Department trying to figure out what caused an East Side home to go up in flames last night. It happened around 11 o'clock last night along East Crockett Street near East Houston and Lincoln Park. Investigators say that this fire started in a mattress in a front bedroom, but they aren't quite sure how it started. Damage estimated to be about $60,000. No one was hurt. Lock, take, hide. That's the reminder the New Braunfels Police Department is putting out after a man had cash that was stolen from his vehicle. It's called bank jugging, and it happened yesterday. The victim in this case withdrew cash from a bank. He then drove to a gas station, and while he was inside the gas station store, 2 men are accused of breaking into his vehicle, stealing the money, and then taking off. Police say the suspects did not get far. They ended up crashing and trying to run from police, and eventually they were caught and arrested. Both men, who are from Houston, are facing theft and burglary charges. They're currently at the Comal County Jail. And a reminder for everyone, be aware of your surroundings when you're withdrawing money. Lock your car, take out your valuables, hide them from plain sight so that you can avoid falling victim. Taking a live look outside with our traffic authority. You can see it is slow moving on I-10 at Frio. The traffic moving into town, moving along just fine. But if you are headed home for the day, this is what you're going to run into.
And no issues right now weather-wise in terms of road conditions, but the big theme this evening is going to be a scattered storm chance. Some storms that do develop could become strong to severe. This is what we're looking at right now on radar. Quiet across the vast majority of south central Texas, but already seeing some strong storm development across the mountains of Mexico. There is a storm approaching Del Rio. No warnings out just yet, but you can see that storm actually looks like that it is breaking apart into two. Looks like a storm will have a northward component into Valverde County, and then the bottom half of that storm will continue to track eastward. Additional development is possible across northern Mexico as a disturbance approaches the Lone Star State. And yes, scattered thunderstorms, some of which could be severe this evening, will be possible with large hail and damaging wind gusts, the biggest things to monitor through about midnight. So we'll get you a look at our future cast in just a little bit, but for now, yes, that hot and humid conditions that we're seeing helping these storms develop. We are in the 80s, even some upper 80s closer to the Rio Grande here in San Antonio, 84 in Windcrest, 83 up in Bulverde. So yes, a full look at our future cast as well as the hot and humid conditions that will continue into the weekend coming up in just a few minutes.
We are keeping an eye on that one. Thank you, Mia. Now, a parent alert. Check your toy box. Check your child's bedroom. Thousands of products have made it onto the recall list recently, and they may be in your home. 12-year size Marilyn Moritz reports we are not just talking child's play. Some of these things are potentially toxic.
LOL surprise dolls are super popular. These may be toxic. 6,600 trick-or-treat subscription boxes are recalled because the paint on the metal doll contains excessive lead, a danger to children. Culturefly is offering refunds. Different toy, same toxic trouble. Some 78,000 Lil Anglers children's fishing rods sold with kid casters are recalled. Again, too much lead. These were sold at Academy, Bass Pro Shop, Dick's, and other retailers. Thousands of children's necklaces are recalled because they contain excessive cadmium, also toxic if a child ingests it. The Great Pretenders necklaces have Easter bunnies or butterfly jewels. Kids tend to put necklaces in their mouths, so take these away. And bunk bed danger. Walker Edison Furniture is recalling 121,000 twin bunk beds after several reports of slats breaking. These were sold since 2010 at several online retailers.
Contact the manufacturer so you can fix this bunk bed. We have model numbers and more information about all of these recalled products on our website. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
We have new developments regarding that deadly mass shooting in Atlanta. The alleged gunman waiving his court appearance today as he faces murder and aggravated assault charges. 24-year-old Dion Patterson arrested yesterday after police say that he opened fire at a medical center in Atlanta, killing one person and injuring 4 others. Police say he stole a white pickup truck from the gas station after the shooting. Investigators using surveillance cameras to locate and arrest him.
I saw the arrest. They had him down, and like 15 other cops came down there too. But once they all got in the area, they told me I had to leave. He's caught, and everybody can relax now.
The city was scared for a while. 39-year-old Amy St. Pierre died in that shooting. 2 of the other 4 shot are in critical condition. And as of right now, a motive for this shooting is unknown. The leader of the far-right group known as the Proud Boys found guilty on charges related to the January 6 riots. Former leader Enrique Tarrio and 4 others face up to 20 years for their roles on that day. Their plan was to forcibly prevent the peaceful transfer of power from then-President Donald Trump over to Joe Biden after the 2020 election. Tarrio was not at the Capitol during the riot since he was arrested in D.C. a few days prior. But prosecutors argued his texts about a revolution to his troops, telling them not to leave the Capitol building after they had forced themselves inside, was enough to get a guilty verdict.
It reminds people that despite the fact that you didn't physically participate, perhaps, in this assault, that you're just as guilty if you're involved in planning it.
In court, Tarrio's attorneys blamed former President Donald Trump for encouraging the crowd that broke into the Capitol. The Justice Department continues to pursue criminal charges against more than 1,000 people they have linked to the attack. San Antonio City Council members passing a resolution today, and it supports renters' rights. That resolution passed 10-0, with Councilman Clayton Perry abstaining. Unofficially branded the Renters' Bill of Rights by activists, the resolution does not add any new protections. Instead, it highlights the rights that renters already have under federal, state, and local laws, and it consolidates them all into one place.
This may seem to some as a redundant measure, but to folks who actually rent and have suffered at the hands of neglectful property owners, it's an official declaration of support for them by their city leaders.
The city also plans to promote educational materials through schools, municipal courts, libraries, and senior centers to help spread awareness of the rules. And it plans to host monthly Know Your Rights workshops for renters. The summer months usually a time where gas prices increase, but as we inch our way to a new season, that is not necessarily the case this year, at least not yet, when AAA Texas will be able to get a better gauge on the summer gas price season and how it might affect your wallet in just a bit. Plus, the Federal Reserve still trying to slow consumer spending. It's had a 10th, the latest interest rate hike. What it means for you and where inflation stands now. It's all about your money when we come back.
Welcome back. I'm Stefania Jimenez here in the KSAT 12 newsroom with a look at what's happening today on the news at 6 o'clock. She's convicted in a gruesome 2019 murder, and now the defense is asking for mercy. Mandy Ubiegas is in court for her sentencing today, where her mental health is being called into question. Erica Hernandez explains the argument and also the outcome at 6 o'clock. Plus, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas is in the Rio Grande Valley today. His visit coming as Title 42, an immigration policy that was put in place early on in the pandemic, is set to come to an end. Our Jonathan Cotto is going to be live from the border with how nonprofit organizations are preparing for a surge in migrants seeking asylum. We'll have that and so much more for you today on the news at 6 o'clock.
Thank you so much, Stefania. Now to your money. It's about to get even more expensive to borrow money. The Federal Reserve just announcing that it will once again hike interest rates. The move following the collapse of First Republic Bank earlier this week, 3 major bank failures in just the last 2 months, and numerous layoffs all across the country. ABC's Lindsay Watts is in Washington with what this means for your wallet.
It's the 10th straight interest rate hike by the Federal Reserve. The central bank today once again raising rates 1/4 percentage point.
Our future policy actions will depend on how events unfold.
The Federal Reserve is continuing to try to cool inflation while also considering impacts of the debt limit debate and recent bank failures. Those failures could help in the inflation battle as banks tighten credit and become more selective about who they lend to.
Conditions in that sector have broadly improved since early March, and the U.S. banking system is sound and resilient.
For consumers, this all means it will be even more expensive to borrow money for a business or to buy a house or car. Credit card interest rates, already at a record high of over 20%, will likely keep climbing.
Definitely have made adjustments, to make it work.
Families across the country waiting for prices to start falling more rapidly.
So I've definitely noticed that there is a steep rise a little bit a while ago, but I've honestly been noticed the prices going down a little bit recently with certain items.
While prices are starting to come down, groceries are still up nearly 8.5% from a year ago. A number of breakfast staples, from coffee to eggs, still up double digits. The typical American household is spending $313 more per month on the same goods and services as last year. The Fed's decision today is helpful to those with high-yield savings accounts, bonds, or CDs. Right now, the average return on your money is 4%, and some accounts pay even more. Lindsay Watts, ABC News, Washington.
Gas prices are going down across the U.S. Right now, the national average is about $3.57. That is 6 cents less than last week and 65 cents less than a year ago. Here in Bexar County, the average price about $3.05. So what's the decrease all about? AAA says less people are on the roads, and it is affecting demand. If it stays that low, prices are going to continue to drop, and we're going to see what Memorial Day travel brings, because that's the official kickoff to the summer driving season. We want to take a live look outside with Live Cam. There is the Carnival that is going on in Lotus. Big event over there. A lot of fun. And will they be ducking for cover?
Not anytime soon, which is the good news, at least over the next few hours. Now, what we're going to be monitoring, though, as we head into this evening and even tonight, some storm development that is already occurring across the mountains of Mexico and pushing into our far western counties. And really over the next few hours, that's the key. We're going to have to monitor exactly where those storms form so that we can monitor the track that they will take. It's not going to be for everybody tonight, but the storms that we do find will likely be strong to severe in some parts. Now, here's the big picture. We've got a big upper level low across the western coastline of the lower 48. And with where we sit in relation to that low pressure system, the upper level flow is out of the southwest. And what we often see with this particular weather pattern, a few disturbances, some ripples in the jet stream, and when combined with the humidity that we have in place right now, as well as just the warmer temperatures, all of that together can spark up, yes, some strong to even severe thunderstorms. So for most of us, we are quiet right now across south central Texas, but already starting to see a few storms cross over the Rio Grande. We did get a severe thunderstorm warning for southern Valverde County and the far western reaches of Edwards County. This is going to run through 6 p.m. This storm that is near Lake Amistad, just south of Comstock, has the potential to drop some hail up to the size of a $50, as well as finding some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts associated with this thunderstorm, and of course some lightning and heavy rainfall. Del Rio is not technically included in this severe thunderstorm warning, but if you look up to the north, you likely can see all of that lightning. It is moving farther up to the northeast at about 30 to 35 miles per hour, so that will be approaching the Devil's Shores area very shortly. So we'll be keeping eyes on that. And then on the south side of that particular storm, we had some of it break off. That is also crossing the Rio Grande as we speak. Looks like the heaviest rain and strongest part of that storm is just to the south of Del Rio, but this is taking more of an eastward track. So we're going to monitor southern Kinney County and near Bracketville as well, near the Highway 90 corridor, as that continues to push farther off to the east. But the general theme here this evening, as we see that disturbance push farther eastward, later on by about 7 to 8 p.m., some additional development is possible farther west. Some of this will likely be strong to severe, and you can see through 10 p.m., 11 p.m., we still could be dealing with some of that strong storm activity near or just south of San Antonio. So definitely keep your KSAT Weather Authority app handy. And then after midnight, whatever is left of those thunderstorms does look to weaken a bit as it pushes into our far eastern counties and closes in on the coastal plains area. Again, biggest thing we'll need to monitor in some stronger storms, some large hail as well as some damaging wind gusts and some pockets of heavy rainfall. And after tonight, we're not finished with the isolated rain chances. In fact, those are going to continue pretty much each day into next week as well. So we'll keep eyes on that. Until then, it is warm, it is muggy out there. By the way, hot and humid conditions are going to continue in and out of the upcoming weekend, and Ursula with that humidity. Yes, temperatures out there could approach 90, but it will likely feel more like the mid to upper 90s in spots because of that mugginess. So definitely needing to stay hydrated as well.
That hot, warm, wet blanket is basically what you're saying for the coming week. All right, Larry, I wish I was a football player. That way I could add weight, and it would be a good thing.
Right, I like that. Yeah, so Micah Parsons of the Dallas Cowboys is adding weight. We'll tell you why, but he's also currently not training with the team. Of course, it is voluntary right now, and C.J. Stroud asked the Texans to draft Tank Dell, and they did. Coming up.
I'm about 251 right now, so just trying to get a little size, getting stronger and more agile.
Micah Parsons is bulking up a little bit to better deal with the wear and tear in big board sports.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
Getting ready for his third season in the NFL, Dallas Cowboys linebacker / defensive end Micah Parsons is adding on some weight this offseason because he says he will play defensive end a lot more. The Cowboys have started voluntary offseason workouts, but Parsons has yet to join the team because he's in Austin training at the Collective with Mo Wells. Last season, Dallas listed Parsons at 245 pounds, and he says he's currently 252. He tweeted that he's still very slim and adding good weight, and that he will not surpass 255 at any time in his career. So why is the Lion working out in Austin?
I'm trying to, like I said, bulk up and just focus on me and my development, carrying that load and, competing right now at Collective in Austin. So I just wanted to increase my explosiveness, add on weight the right way, chefing it up, eating right, and just doing anything possible that I can do it the right way to be the best player I can be.
Parsons plans to return to the Star on May 22nd when the Cowboys begin organized team activities. The Houston Texans drafted former Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud second overall, and per multiple reports, he then told the front office that he wanted University of Houston wide receiver Nathaniel Tank Dell, and they delivered, drafting Dell in the third round. Stroud and Dell got to know each other during the scouting combine, and Stroud left impressed with Dell's route running. Tank stands 5'8", 165 pounds, but he's quick, running the 40 in the 4.4s, and Dell said he's excited to work with Stroud.
I actually was on a phone call with TJ, that's my guy. It's going to be great. He know how to win. He went to Ohio State. He had some great receivers there, and I feel like I'm one of those guys also. I feel like we can build off that, and we can just keep going. I'm coming to help him fulfill all his dreams, and I know he'll help me, but me and CJ going to get to work.
As for his nickname Tank, which is what he goes by, not Nathaniel, but Tank, his mother Portia told the Daytona Beach News-Journal that she named him Tankhead shortly after he was born because she said his head was bigger than his body, and Tank is just the shortened version. Tankhead.
What a great name.
Right.
That's going to stick for sure. We'll be right back.
All right, the severe thunderstorm warning that was issued for Val Verde County, that actually has been canceled. That storm has weakened a bit, but we're monitoring the southern part of that thunderstorm that is now approaching western Kinney County. Additional development possible this evening as well. So keep your KSAT Weather Authority app handy. We'll keep eyes on it. Tomorrow, a 20% chance for an isolated storm later in the day. The morning, though, will likely start off with some areas of patchy fog and maybe a few sprinkles. Other than that, daily isolated storm chances continue in and out of the upcoming weekend into next week as well. And other than that, Ursula, it's just going to be hot and humid.
Bring on that more humidity. We love that. Not. Thanks for watching the News at 5 with us. World News is next.